Now, the scenario that I'm going to describe may not be what's actually happening, but I'm going to give you an example because the influence could come from anywhere. And in fact, the lab could be better than the Bureau's lab. I don't know. But how it works is years ago, the sheriff of Pima County and current sheriff did something he wasn't supposed to. And the deep state has manipulated him his entire life with that. But because he does what they want, he becomes the sheriff and lives a great life. But when they bing him with that thing, he has to do what they want. They communicate, coded, veiled language. Give me this. Here's an example. When he sees the number one, that means go ahead with what you're doing. When he sees the number two, in relation to whatever the code is, he's to stop going in that direction and change direction. That's simple. Or it could be number two. And if number two he always listens to, the chief or whatever it is. Like he's a chief. I don't think no, yeah, that's right, the chief deputy. I'm not telling you it's that. In a lab in Florida, might be told to screw the pooch. Now, at least it's going to find its way to the FBI lab as long as the chain of custody has actually been maintained. Eating some curry in a hurry here. Mutter tofu. So, in any particular case, any of this is possible at any angle. It's actually a higher political charged case than we're left to believe, and nobody's talking about it, right? The Democrats really, or at least the Democrats, and a lot of people aren't talking about it. So why? Because they don't want to draw attention to it because it could be a Mexican. But if it looks like it's going towards that direction, they'll block it from being solved if they can. Again, they're running mini NSAs in the United States and outside the United States to disrupt the things they want disrupted. No, not MAGA. I still say Trump most likely lost in 2020. I don't believe the final results, but I don't think he could have overcome that to win. If it had been something closer, maybe. Oh, they hated him at that point. A lot of them are just like where it's going now, I guess. But I don't know. They said that about him 6 months before he won. Well, politically, it would be damaging to the Democrats if Guthrie was kidnapped by Mexicans or a Mexican. Well, that's what they do. They run cover for the criminal entities. And they get paid narco funds. They may have already got paid. It may be in the form of a donation. And when it comes from this person, could be an Irish Catholic. But when the money comes from that person, they know that that's the payment. And that Irish Catholic that pays them the donation may not even know, or a speaking engagement, whatever it is, may not even know what he's doing or she's doing. They just know they're part of this system, that they move money when they're told to move money. So, well, it's looking kind of like somebody is purposefully moving against the case while trying to make it look like they're not, which is another sign. They're really slow walking the coming against it, like in the media and stuff. Now, here's the weird part. I don't believe it, but actually, the thing that I just posted could go either way. Either side could be deep state, off the judge. Well, I don't know why they haven't turned it over to the BI. It'll make any sense. I guess politics. But is that politics destroying the case on purpose? Well, he could have something in his history that he feels they protect him from being exposed about. So you gotta be fired because he knows he's got money, they're gonna pay him money. But if he's deep state, he won't go anywhere. They'll keep him there. Unless it becomes too hot. I think if you have sufficient DNA, you might be able to get the DNA whisperers in there, have them figure something out. Right. The deep state may have figured the worst thing that can happen to them right now during this period of time where they're fighting deportation of criminals. They're fighting. Don't let them tell you that. Like, they say that about ICE. Oh, ICE it's not only deporting criminals. Well, in the Biden administration, they didn't only deport criminals. In the Obama administration, they didn't only deport criminals. So again, it's kind of a bullshit statement because there's two systems. There's a standard system, which everybody used, deports people when their number's up. And then there's the president's system. Just because we're focusing on criminals to be deported doesn't mean that everyday illegal aliens don't get deported. For all does not erase that fact. They entered the country illegally, but they made a deal. I didn't have a problem with it as long as the Biden administration was maintaining the appropriate control of that opening of parole, which obviously they haven't and aren't. And then they freed up all this money that came back to them. Like you see Cory, I think it was, unless it was AI, Cory Booker was speaking to to Somalis, and they wanted help for their homeland. And what were they paying Cory Booker with? Fraud money. Not hard to figure out. Or at least he wanted it. Whether they paid him or not, I'm not sure. That's rich, right? Larry ain't got no money. But you can get money to fuck Larry. So it's the same thing as being paid bribes to help somebody. You pay bribes to let them hurt somebody. You put your own people into it. So again, it appears that the deep state's slow walking and keeping it low key, but they're attempting to throw the or cause the case to be thrown. Which at this point, if these are Democratic Party people that are messing the case up, that's more fodder for the midterm. Right. Of course, they don't want you to know who it is. Now, I'm not telling you again that it's a Mexican, and they may not even know. But again, if it looks like it's leaning that way, which the facial features kind of, then they'll block it. Just like missing and exploited, or not. I call it missing and exploited Native Americans. But the missing Native Americans, it points to who do you think it points to? It points to the deep state person. That's why they don't investigate it. And then when they do investigate it, they put the deep state person in. There's no politics involved at the core level. It's changing. Democrats are kind of the deep staters, but there was a lot more Republicans before, but there are still Republican deep staters, and they'll promise to the president all day long that they're working his angle. But again, that's just to be that person that has that connect with the president, and then they scumbag the president. Well, I don't know what it is. Anybody could be compromised in the chain, but that was kind of weird, that email, that third email. And hopefully that was an email that helped figure something else out about that person or about the case. That's what I felt we needed, was a third email. Or at least a third. And again, people hold out hope. But again, there's the reality of statistics as far as Nancy is concerned. So the fact that even if that person has information, maybe they just went trying to salvage some money out of the thing. Right. Now, why they tried to act all bad and double it is insane. Well, because the fact is, you could release the information and say, but it might be, detrimental because you're responding to that person. Right? But you can say, look, we have $100,000 reward, But that doesn't mean somebody gets 100,000. There's a lot to get that full $100,000. Well, they might find that your assistance is worth 25,000. They give you 25,000. Okay, so this scenario came up. If it is a deep state cover up, whether they know who it is or not, Pima County may have had the deep state hush everybody up. I feel somebody in Pima County knows who it is, or a group of, it's just few people, it looks like. They're not going to come forward because the deep state already jumped on them. So that's why I'm saying in the immigrant community, you should if they actually provide real information, you should allow them to immigrate, right? Or whatever what do they call it, the green card, a pathway to at least to the green card. They would probably want a green card at this point. Thanks. And then promise protection. It could be cartel. These people grew up. Cartel kills people. You do what the cartel wants. You get you get to at least have your little slice of nothingness. Right. So again, I don't know what you're interacting on the ground with in the local community, but you need to promise protection. And I would promise any foreign national a green card. If again, it can't be the scam. If you're tied to it, then you're going to get nothing, unless you can show that you were I was living in this house and these people did this in this house. Well, actually, anybody living in that house actually has an obligation to go to the police right away. Again, this is the United States, not Mexico. Although I don't know what they've been running Tucson like. It could be the same thing as Mexico. You pay in, you get to commit the crimes. And then if it's Democratic Party based money, deep state based money, you can't say anything about the sheriff failing to keep or the city police, whatever it is, to keep you safe. You have to just accept it, and then they give you more money. Otherwise, you have nothing. You can live somewhere else and have nothing. Right. I feel like there's a hush up going on in Tucson or in Pima County. I'm not saying that the cops have anything to do with it, but again, they could. Yeah, I'm not there. I can't tell you. I know there's retail theft people that believe they have information. I believe there's just uh, uh, foreign nationals, aliens that have information. And again, some aren't sure. So again, they're saying, "Look, I'm not sure, but I think I have information, but I'm scared to say anything." That's what's coming in psychically. All right, I got to make sure this is getting through to my ex. They've played a game with that, so I don't have to upload it later. Yeah, they're whammying it. I figured it out, but then they whammied it harder. It's not even showing that I'm live at this point. Well, them sons of guns. Because when I see that, I remember it. So I'm going to have to download this and upload it. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.